Welcome to the TMC Newsroom. My name's Rich Tehrani. Thanks for watching us today. We are at Interop 2011 in Las Vegas. On our program, Peter Silva, the Technical Marketing Manager at F5. Peter, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks, Rich. Thanks for having us.
So, what's new at F5?
What's new? Well, this week we announced our mid-range Viprion 2400 chassis. It's a mid-range chassis-based design, a nice differentiator for a nice price point and performance. So we have the higher-end Viprion for enterprises, and now we have the mid-range Viprion 2400 chassis. We announced the VCMP architecture, which is the virtual clustered multi-processing technology. And what that means is you're now able to virtualize your application delivery controller. Not only virtualize, but also do multi-tenancy on the same platform. So some of the challenges with multi-tenancy is because there are a number of customers on the same unit, and they are segmented, but one customer may affect another customer. And if that piece of hardware goes down, then there are multiple customers that are affected by that outage.
Right.
In virtualization, a lot of customers may find that as the demands grow, then the hardware itself may not be able to match the needs. Now you can certainly virtualize off and splinter off, but it might not support it. And so there's the whole hardware platform, and then the everybody else getting in my space platform. And so this more or less solves that dilemma for organizations.
Now the first piece of news you mentioned, the Viprion, the new model, what organization size are you targeting?
Organization size would still be enterprises, but sort of the mid-range enterprise. Okay. They might not need the data center or high-end power that a lot of our service providers would require with the higher-end Viprion chassis.
Okay. Now, you're also part of the Interop network here, correct?
Yeah, which is kind of cool. So we were invited to solve some of the wireless and VPN access issues, and so we have our big IP devices diversified in the various NOCs for Interop. So we have a couple of our big IP 8900s in San Francisco, a couple of our big IP 6900s in Denver, and we have about 4 pairs of our big IP 8900s in the NOC here. And it's handling a good portion of the traffic that's going back and forth. It's handling a lot of the user requests for wireless, a lot of the administrative access to the NOC for VPN access, a lot of the access for all of the exhibitors here on the show floor. A good portion of it is going through our devices in the NOC. So it's pretty cool stuff.
Now, in terms of differentiating your company from others, how do you look at the market and compare?
How do we differentiate? We see ourselves in that strategic point of control within the data center. And so there's always going to be mobile users, mobile or not, on one side, and they're always going to be trying to access their resources on the other side. Users are moving around, and potentially the resources themselves, the applications, the systems may be moving around. It could be in the corporate data center, it may be going to the cloud for cloud bursting, it may be going back and forth depending upon the location of the user. And so it's sitting in that strategic point of control, taking the context from the user. And so context is things like who the user is, the device, the type of network that they're on, the security posture of that device and themselves, where they're coming from, taking all that contextual information and then making that intelligent decision right there on the fly to then determine which is the best resource to send them to. If you think about the flow of anything, water, cars, electricity, commerce, there are always these strategic points of control somewhere in the middle that provide that redistribution of traffic, that provide that security, that provide those sort of functionality. And so that's how we see ourselves offering that, making sure that users get to their applications as seamlessly, securely, and as fast as possible. We're seeing a lot of stuff in the marketplace. I can say stuff on this, right?
Stuff's okay, that works. I think they can figure out what you're talking about.
Areas like data center consolidation, all of the virtualization that's going on, server virtualization, file virtualization. We're seeing that cloud computing is becoming more mainstream. So last year, a number of surveys showed that CIOs, maybe 20% of the CIOs, were interested or pursuing cloud computing, cloud-based computing. And we saw a lot of a lot of fears last year, right, with security
Sure.
and other such things, where this year we're seeing a much greater adoption. Like that 20% has now gone to 80%
Right.
of the CIOs are now exploring cloud as an option. We're seeing things like this explosion of the app stores. Last year we talked a lot about the explosion of mobile devices. Everybody's got their mobile device, their
Right.
smartphone. I want access from my personal smartphone to wherever I go.
Right.
Now that that's sort of been accepted, well, maybe not accepted, it just happened. We have to accept it whether we like it or not. There's this growth of these app stores now.
Right.
And all of these various applications that are now being driven to the mobile device and how those interact. And then other things like, so there's the mobile and then, you know, just the huge proliferation of traffic. Videos like this that
Right.
are going out on a daily basis that are, you know, we're just seeing the explosive growth in traffic over IP. You know, voice over IP, video, audio, all that now.
That's great. Well, thanks for being on the program today. This was great.
Hey, thanks for having us. It's
Pleasure.
fun.